I did. I walked a lot.
Guys,
Here we go.
good evening, everybody. This is the October 22nd Borough of Oakland Council meeting. Would the clerk please read the statement of compliance?
This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law, duly announced, advertised, and posted in the municipal building. The meeting will adjourn no later than 10 p.m. unless the majority of the council members that are present vote to extend the time.
All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Would Commander McNulty please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Be seated. Thank you. All right, at this time, I'm going to do the mayor's report.
Roll call.
Oh, I'm sorry. Roll call. Get a little ahead of myself.
Councilwoman Goffredo?
Here.
Councilman McCann? Councilman Pignatelli?
Here.
Councilman Saliani? Councilman Slasinski?
Here.
Councilman Talamini?
Here.
Motion to excuse Councilman Saliani and Councilman McCann.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now on to the mayor's report. All right, so a couple updates for the community. Number one, the tennis court updates. The courts have been painted and striped. Currently, we're just waiting for the nets to be installed. Once the nets are in, the courts will be open for playing once again. Patriots Way Bridge, we're making great progress. As I reported last time, the frame has been put in. Right now, the contractor and public service will be working on installing the gas line and the water main across the bridge. Once that work is completed in the next couple weeks, there will be installing the stringers and the deck pans, and that will be followed by pouring the concrete on the bridge structure itself. I know there's a lot of discussion with the council here about the flood buyout houses that are down on Lenape Lane and Truman. So the latest on that is we're currently waiting on New Jersey DEP permitting. Once we get the green light for the permitting, the houses will go out for bid, and we are certainly pushing DEP we're really pushing DEP to try and get that done. A couple announcements. Most important is probably in the next 2 weeks, is voting. The vote by mail deadline is October 29th. So if anybody, better get your applications in if you're going to be voting by mail. Also, early voting starts on Saturday, October 26th. That's Saturday, October 26th. The early voting locations are Fort Lee at the Jack Alleman Community Center at 1355 Inwood Terrace. It's in Garfield. This is the next location. At the Nutrition Center and Senior Citizen Building at 48 Midland Avenue. Hackensack at 1 Bergen Plaza, 5th floor. Paramus at Bergen Community College, 400 Paramus Road in the IT building. Rivervale at the Rivervale Community Center, 628 Rivervale Road. Teaneck, the Richard Rhoda Center, 250 Colonial Court. Woodridge at the Woodridge Senior Center, 495 Highland Avenue. Woodcliff Lake, that's Tice's Senior Center, 410 Chestnut Ridge Road. And in Wyckoff at the Public Library at the Shopmeyer Room at 200 Woodland Avenue. Also, we have our Trick or Trunk coming up on Saturday, October 26, 2024, with the Halloween parade starts at 10 o'clock. Meet at the Valley Middle School at 9:45, so the parade can kick off at 10 o'clock. And there's also the Access for All the Access for All has a part in this. Access for All is dedicated to providing access to all residents and activities and events sponsored by the Borough of Oakland. We invite all to join us at 9:30 a.m. at the Access for All table for a quiet fun. The Access for All table will be located by the Oakland Public Library. Also, there will be a parade, the corn maze, cider donuts, and there will be best decorated car contest, and free pumpkins. Pumpkins are available. We also have the Oakland Public Library Touch a Truck. I'll let Kevin talk about that when it's his turn. It's going to be on November 2nd, 12 to 2 at the library parking lot. We also have the Oakland Free Rabies Clinic. It's going to be held November 2nd, 1 to 3 p.m. at the shed down on Waller Drive. For the people that don't know, that's down by the rec field. So it's 1 to 3 p.m. November 2nd. Registration is required. To make an appointment, please email health@oakland-nj.org. health@oakland-nj.org. All the information I provided is certainly on our website. And that concludes my report. At this time, we have 3 presentations. At this time, we have the Veterans Banner presentation. I'd like to invite Kevin Tessirio and Commander Mike McNulty to give us a presentation on the Veterans Banner. And just to kind of set the stage while they're coming up, I'm sure many of you noticed last year we had flags that were running down Route 202 and working with the Commander and the Legion. They paid for those flags. And what was missing was the veteran banners. And I've asked Mike Elston, Commander Mike McNulty, and Kevin Tessirio to bring the program to us so that it's really a good fit, leading up to Veterans Day. I think this is just, the timing is perfect. And next year, when you come through town, you'll not only see the flags, but you'll also see the veterans banners. At this point, I'd like to turn it over to two gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. So today we're here to discuss the Veterans Banner Program. Excuse me. Essentially, who will be eligible is past and present Oakland residents that served honorably in any armed forces at any point. The banners would fly from May to November, so we would hit Armed Forces Day, Memorial Day, 4th of July, Veterans Day, essentially all the major holidays, especially for veterans. The banners would be placed on Route 202. So first we would start from Dogwood going towards the Veterans Park, which is the parade route, get those all done. Once those are set, we have more. We're going to expand further north towards Franklin Ave to get them, excuse me, in the downtown area. Each banner would cost $125. It is a one-time fee. The residents would fill out a very basic form. Essentially what it's asking is name, rank, branch of service, service dates, and the borough address, excuse me, whether it's past or present. They would also supply a picture of that service member via email, and also the DD Form 214, which is a summary of that service member's record in the military. If they have an issue finding that, they can reach out to the American Legion. There's always a way to get one, so we can assist them in receiving that. The manufacturer states that the banner is good for 3+ years. Obviously, it is exposed to the elements, but they are, if you want to roll one out, they are made out of a vinyl material. It's not cloth, so they are heavy duty. Obviously, again, with the elements, rain, snow, wind, everything you got, it could possibly fade throughout the years, but ripping, I don't think is going to be an issue. It is very thick.
Nice.
What we would like to do also is accept donations. Whether it's a family member or that service member could not fully fund the banner, we would have at least the borough would have an account that if instead of the $125 for my banner, I wrote a check for $150, that extra $25 could stay in that account and help fund a non-funded banner from somebody that might not possibly have the money. So that is an example of the banners. This is the design that we did pick out. Myself, Mike, and another member of the American Legion. Mike Elson. So this, it's very basic. Up here, it would say the Borough of Oakland, Hometown Heroes. It would have the picture of the service member. Right here in the center would have the branch of service. So for this gentleman, it's Marine Corps. It'd have the rank, the name, the branch, and then the era of when they served.
Another reason why we had picked these banners, one of the main focus of the Legion is patriotism and Americanism. And in going through most of the other townships, we see these beautiful banners up, and I said, we wanted to get them here. When we originally asked, we were allowed to do it on the digital screen. It didn't really take off that well. When the mayor came in, I offered to purchase the flags to go down the runway, the first 50 flags, which we did. And they look good, but this goes with the flag theme all the way from Bush Plaza. As you come into town, you have Bush Plaza, you have a black flagpole. We have black flagpoles that are holding the small flags that will go over these and they match up very nice with this particular.
So the flag and that picture would be up there simultaneous?
Simultaneously.
Oh,
So these
yes.
will be up on the pole,
Good.
hanging.
Cool.
And you see roughly the size.
Cool.
And the flag is right top above them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it looks very nice. It's a nice presentation. It'll look that way all the way throughout town, you know, which is nice, so that we're all on the same page. It even coincides with the new flagpole at the ceremonial fire pit, which will be opening soon when the mayor and all of us can come upon a agreed time. We will do retirement ceremonies over there, and inviting some of the schools and the classes. We've spoken to the schools to have them have classrooms come down and watch a retirement ceremony, which would be neat because we'll have some guest speakers there, maybe a few generals from the Marine Corps that are retired, some lieutenant colonels. We have a bunch of them. They're in our pockets, folks. But no, we really do, and they would love to do it. Our first, we picked Paul Rubenacker, Colonel Rubenacker first, because his family is so involved in this town and, you know, the whole area. And I said, well, that's appropriate. Plus, my kids are always chasing his kids, you know, around in the football field down there. That's all you hear down there on the football field. Rubenacker, or oh, no, I take that back, and O'Neill. Very important. I learned that in this town. Very important. Soon you'll be hearing McNulty because the McNulty twins are. Anyways, to keep this nice and uniform, I asked Kevin, you know, that we could just make it look uniform all the way down the street, and you know, it shows a little pride and that we care about it. It's important for us to vet the people that are going to put their names on here, only because we've had incidents before with stolen valor. So it's very important that DD 214, it's not the only, we can go somewhere else if they don't have a DD 214. We can get the information that will verify their service, but we just want to do that so that as a town, we're not marked for, you know, putting stolen valor members up on the.
What I did was I went to the county and they put my DD 214 on microfilm, and they have it stored there, so whenever I need it, I can go there.
Right.
So maybe some people have done that.
Yeah.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. But they also will issue, if they can't, supposedly there was a fire years ago and some of the things did get destroyed, some of the older members, but they still do have other records that they can give. It'll be some type of certificate they can give us. But, you know, that'll be up to what, we're going to take that responsibility on at the American Legion. Mike Elston, myself, and any one of our members will go through and we'll check and verify them. If we have any questions, we have people that we know who to call to verify their service. So.
Can you just expand a little bit on the fact that I think we had spoken in the past that if there's a benefactor out there that would like to donate some money to the program, could you speak to that just a little bit?
Yeah, so once the you know, the governing body and the borough set up the trust account for this program, you know, for an example, for me, again, if they're $125, I cut a check for $150, it's an extra $25, that stays in the account. As far as I know, and Rich, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, if
Let me help you out. I'm buying four. The chief of police called me up and he said, there's 4 veterans that are no longer with us. He said, can we get banners for them? And I said, well, if you can give me their information and give me verify their service, I'll buy them at the American Legion. We'd love to do that. So, you know, that's, anybody can do that. If you want to do it for your uncle or for whoever who's a resident, you can do that.
I guess what I'm getting at is if there's a member of the community that wishes to donate to this fund. It's
Corporate sponsor.
Right, a
Oh,
sponsor.
absolutely.
Right,
Yeah.
that's my question.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
As long as
They would just
the,
make a check out to the Borough of Oakland, and we would put it in a dedicated trust account specifically for that purpose.
And can you also talk a little bit about how many banners how many blocks of banners we need before we put the order in as well?
yeah, I'm sorry, that was, yeah, so we need a minimum of 10, excuse me, of 10. I believe that the first batch, that's not going to be difficult to do, and really the second batch either, because once residents see the banners up there, it's almost like free advertisement, right? They'll see it, oh, you know, so-and-so, served, and I want one and everything. So I think the first two are really gonna, blow up. Once that is over with, again, there is a minimum of 10 banners. I don't want people waiting for, essentially over a year before they can get their banner. So with the under 10 banners, there's a $100 processing fee. I think that if we look at that trust account, see how much money is actually in there from donations, maybe we could use that money and get those up. So
When would we start this? What's your possible kickoff date?
if the borough is ready, we can start it tonight.
How long does it take to order the banners, I mean?
So the banners, once we put in
6 weeks?
the order, it is, I think it's, 6 to 8?
I thought it's 6 weeks.
Yeah, 6 to 8 weeks.
So we're looking at 2 months.
So we're really ready for Memorial Day of next year. We should have a nice looking downtown with the banners and the flags.
100%, yes. Yep.
Good.
Yep.
So then I mean, they say they last 3 years. I mean, what is the plan? I mean, I'd hate to have a tattered one up there,
Right, so again, if it comes down to that, we could essentially go back to the application and find out who got that banner. Just, explain to them, hey, look, your 3 years is over. It is starting to get ragged. Either that, or if, again, we do have, if only 2 of them are, or tattered, and we have money in that account, then we can, fund those to get new ones for those
So
individuals.
what we've spoken about is basically guaranteeing it for 3 years, based on what the manufacturer has represented to us. Anything after that, if it gets worn out, family would have to replace it at their cost. If it's within that 3-year period, we would essentially, fund the replacement.
Make good on that.
Anybody else have any questions?
So they have to have an honorable discharge
Yes.
and any minimum rank?
No. Honorable, medical, things, anything but dishonorable.
And who would be installing it?
DPW.
DPW.
Yeah.
And we have the permission to use the poles?
Yes, so these are already existing poles that we put a permit for the flags and also for the holiday banners. And that's another reason too why we went this size. We already have the brackets. So when DPW changes them out, especially in November, that's getting close to the holidays, they would take these down after Veterans Day and put up the holiday banners, and then go from there. Because the brackets alone are $70, so we're at least saving everybody that cost.
I'd like to commend the Borough and the American Legion for this. I'm a little selfish, I did serve. And, what an honor it is for us to serve our country and show the families of the people that we appreciate what they did for our country. It's a great program. Thank you.
Anybody else have any further questions? At this time, is there a motion to approve the program?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Well, I want to congratulate all 3 of you for really making this happen. We started very early in February.
Yeah, we did.
And, Commander McNulty, you certainly delivered on the flags right away and really got that going. And I know you guys spent months working on this, and also the borough administrator and the administrative team to get all the back end ready to go. So I guess we can say we're open for business, and we look forward to.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it, I got to thank Kevin and DPW because, I tell everybody we have the best DPW around.
We don't have to submit our...
I've seen the others.
We don't have to submit our boot camp picture, do we?
I was thinking about that.
I
You'd be
wouldn't
like,
see
who's
it.
that hallucinating? Not the fat guy you see now. Yeah.
Make sure you get Pat's good side, though. when you
Yeah,
put
yeah,
it on.
Well, once again, thank you so much.
Thank you
for
so much.
really putting
Thank
this
you.
together.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, this time we have a plaque presentation commemorating Fred Burks. I'd like to bring the members of the OCC out here. You know, for the people that don't know, Fred Burks was really one of the founding members of the OCC and the public access station that you see today, and everything that's going out on YouTube. And, you know, Fred really brought his expertise of working in the television field for his entire career. And, you know, Oakland's fortunate to have him living here and you know, really making this happen. And with that, I'd like to turn this over to Brian Schwarzfager, the chairman of the OCC.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mayor. It's wonderful to see Nancy and some of Fred's family. Is your daughter, correct? And this is your granddaughter as well? Very nice. Thank you for coming.
Why don't you come up here? Come up.
Yes,
Yeah.
Come close.
Come on up here. While they're walking up, Fred was an immeasurable asset to our television channel. Essentially, was one of the, I call him one of the founding fathers, you could say, of Oakland TV. Yeah, I was very fortunate that I got to spend a lot of time with Fred, learning about how the room worked and all the equipment, and a lot about his experience and whatnot. And you know, just like so much immeasurable knowledge that was poured in from Fred and his life into the control room. And if you'd like to, after we're done revealing the plaque, if you want to come in, you're welcome to, if you'd like to come in. But you know, after Fred passed away, we all banded together. We made a very nice tribute video, which I know the mayor and several others were also in the video. So if you want to learn more about Fred, I would highly encourage you to go online and on our YouTube channel. It's a very nice, well done video, and I hope Fred is smiling that we did a good job with editing that together. But we wanted to make sure we did something a little bit more. We had named the control room after Fred when he officially retired, but we wanted to do something a little bit more to cement his legacy and all the amazing work that he did. So we are going to unveil a plaque that will want to see and know for certain that it is the Fred C. Burks. So.
Councilman Fredo, would you like to?
I would just like to say, I've heard lots of stories from Ryan, and the picture, you know, what I imagine is that this room wouldn't be a room without Fred leading it to this today. So, you know, I wish I would have known him.
It was his other baby.
Yeah.
He got disabled. He had been in television for a million years in the city in Manhattan, and when he got sort of knocked out of the picture, he was home here, really bored. A lot of the production and post-production houses in the city were merging and downsizing, and he would say, yeah, you got a rack of this, of that, a meter, give it to me, I'm building a control room. And he got the grant for, I guess it was Cablevision in those days, whoever it was, and negotiated with the police department to take over their exercise room, and made this control room, and had a wonderful time teaching. Basically, that was the biggest thrill, I think, was teaching seniors new skills and teaching the high school students who need community service hours all about television. So many who have gone on to careers in TV production, post-production. So. Yeah.
And with that, shall we move over there? And
I think we should.
everybody in.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Come on. You're going to do the honors.
We got more people. Sure.
I'm sorry if I'm home without.
Okay. Marshall Dillon, Marshall Dillon.
Scooch down a little bit, make sure you can see
Hi. That's Mackenzie. And that's Street. Julie.
Roll, please. Would you like to unveil this? Just lift the cardboard straight out. And I know you're so I'm going to talk a little loud, so I apologize. It says, Fred C. Burke's Television Control Room. As a grateful borough celebrates the legacy of Fred Burks as a founder of the Television Committee, the Communications Commission, and as the first control room engineer. Fred's contributions are immeasurable since all that is produced from this control room emanates from his vision, dedication, and expertise. Oakland will always fondly remember Fred's bold and unique personality and pursuit of excellence. Do you want to get a picture?
Yes.
Just stay right next to that.
Need everybody to.
Everybody's scooch.
Scoochies.
Thank you.
Okay, am I good? Scoop now. Very nice.
Okay. All set? Our next presentation is a GIF overview with the Otterstadt Agency. Mr. Coons, you want to kind of tee this up and introduce the guest, please?
Sure. So the Otterstead Agency serves as the borough's risk manager for property and casualty coverages. As you know, we're a member of the Bergen County Joint Insurance Fund, and you have a resolution on the agenda this evening to renew our membership for another 3-year period. It seemed the right time to bring in these good folks to talk about the GIF, talk about their role, our claims experience, and emerging trends in the insurance industry. So I present to you Kim Casamano, Matt McArrow, and Ezio Altamira. And Ezio, take it away.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Rich. Good evening, everyone, Mayor, members of the governing body, Councilor. Kim is just going to hand out a packet. I promise I will make this brief. Certainly, if there are any questions, you can always reach out to us after the meeting tomorrow. Our cards are in there. We have extras, too, for the 2 council members that aren't here. We can leave them with you, Wendy.
Yeah, and I'll make sure they get them, sure. Thank you.
You'll leave the balance.
I'll leave the extra too.
Yeah, I'll make sure. Thank you.
Okay. So if you open up the packet and you look on the right side, I'm going to go through this quickly. Again, stop me if you have any questions. First of all, thank you for your reappointment. This is our 2nd year being the risk managers to the Borough of Oakland. So the first page is basically an introduction of who we are and what we do. We've been your risk managers since 2023. We represent you, as Rich said, with property and casualty insurance. If you turn the page to page 2, this is just an overview. We have, as Rich said, Kim Casamano and myself, Ezio Altamira. We are principals with Otterstead and our insurance agency. We're equity partners there. We are the partners who serve the Borough of Oakland. We insure over 35 public entities throughout the state of New Jersey. The list on the bottom of page 2 is just a short list of some of the towns in the Bergen Municipal Joint Insurance Fund. We represent the Borough of Oakland, the Borough of Bergenfield, and the Borough of River Edge. Myself and Matt and Kim are on all the committees as well with the Joint Insurance Fund, coverage management, claims committee, and we meet regularly up at Westwood at Borough Hall there. The third page is basically our resume, so you have Kim's information, a little bit of background on her, then myself, a little bit background on me, and then on page 4, background on Matt Jr. from Ottersted. If you go to page 5, this is the 2024 Plan of Risk Management that the Bergen County Municipal Joint Insurance Fund puts out every year. If you turn to page 6, these are the insurance coverages that we provide through the Bergen County Municipal Joint Insurance Fund: worker compensation, we have liability, public officials employment practices liability, volunteer directors and officers liability for your volunteers, crime, non-owned aircraft, environmental impairment, we have cyber coverage, your property and your equipment breakdown, and emergency service volunteer automobile physical damage. And I'll touch upon them briefly as I go through it. The bottom of page 6 begins a more detailed analysis of the coverage, so I'm just going to go through that and just highlight some of the important coverages. If you turn to page 7, number 2, liability. So to make you understand, the liability includes general liability, that's generally slip and fall kinds of exposures from third parties that come into the Borough of Oakland. Automobile liability, we have an accident with a third party, with a public works, police vehicle, etc. Employee benefits and law enforcement liability is all covered under the Bergen County Municipal Joint Insurance Fund. The Bergen County Municipal Joint Insurance Fund is one of 19 pools in the state of New Jersey covered by the Municipal Excess Liability Joint Insurance Fund, which is the umbrella arm of the 19 JIFs. It's the largest joint insurance fund in the state of New Jersey and, in fact, the country. And I sit on the Municipal Excess Liability Coverage Committee. So statewide, we meet down in Jamesburg, discuss coverages, write the policies, review the policies, etc. If you go to page 8, we cover, as I said, general liability. We also have optional excess liability in number 3. So that's what you commonly would know as umbrella liability. At the bottom of page 8, the Borough of Oakland has essentially $20 million of liability. We have $5 million primary, $15 million excess liability. If you go to page 9, we cover your public officials and employment practices liability, wrongful termination, wrongful acts. When public officials get pulled into a liability claim, we cover through Oakland. Because you have a very low frequency, in fact, you have really no claims over the past 2 years that we've represented you, you have a very preferred status of a $20,000 deductible with a co-insurance 20% of the first $100,000 if you sustain a claim. So that is a preferred status in the joint insurance fund. Towns that typically, municipalities that typically have high claims incidences get penalized, and they don't offer those low deductibles and low co-insurance. Number 5 is optional excess public officials. So besides the $2 million base coverage, we actually have for you an additional $4 million above the 2 for a total of $6 million. If you go to page 10, we have directors and officers liability coverage. The maximum offered through the Bergen County Municipal JIF, which is $2 million, which covers your Memorial First Aid Squad and your volunteer fire department. That basically covers directors and officers who operate those volunteer programs, so for wrongful acts, breach of duty, judgment and damages against them. We rarely see those claims, but we have the maximum offered through the joint insurance fund. If you go to page 11, we cover your environmental liability through their environmental JIF, they call it the E-JIF. And number 10, we cover cyber insurance. You notice there's no limits there. That's really a security issue. They don't post the limits. I know what the limits are. You have the maximum limits offered through the JIF. That covers exposures like data breach, data recovery, ransomware, etc. Believe me, you don't want to have a claim for that. We insure many public entities, and we've had a few over the years that have had claims, and it's a nightmare. But the JIF has professionals that come in, lawyers and examination people that come in an emergency and actually work with the municipalities to help you get back on track when you have a cyber breach. We cover your property, your buildings, your equipment. I was showing the mayor before the meeting that when we first were appointed, we worked with Rich and Jason, your DPW super, and went around and evaluated all your properties. We photographed them, cataloged them, measured them, made sure the values were correct. We worked with Rich, and then we updated all the applications to make sure that the Borough of Oakland has the proper coverages. If you go to page 12, the member deductible across the board for all 38 members in the Bergen JIF is $2,500. So if you have a fire, lightning, windstorm, a vehicle accident, an piece of equipment stolen, it's a $2,500 deductible. Number 12, we do have emergency service volunteer automobile physical damage. So if someone is responding in their own vehicle, they have an accident as a volunteer, this is very unique to the Bergen and South Bergen JIF members. you get up to $2,500 towards your deductible or out-of-pocket expenses should you have an accident during an emergency. So that's a nice little coverage for your volunteers. Skip to page 14. These are some of the additional coverages that we write for the Borough of Oakland. We have an accident policy for your auxiliary police and special police. That's the first bullet point, and you'll see the limits there as outlined in my document. We have 2 recreation policies, one for the participants in the recreation programs and one for your volunteers. We are currently looking and working with Rich to combine them with one policy to see if we can save you some money. We did look at it last year, our first year with the Borough of Oakland. It wasn't cost effective, it was cost prohibitive to write them combined. We are now reevaluating that again, looking to see if we can combine those policies. We have an accident, a VFIS, a voluntary fireman's insurance service policy that covers your volunteer fire, your fire association, your relief association, and your first aid squad. These are additional benefits besides worker compensation that are applicable under that policy. And then the JIF provides the bonding, so we have non-statutory and statutory positions covered for your employees. So if that's a crime coverage, so if someone absconds with money or steals money, we have up to $1 million of coverage for your employees. And then if you go to page 15, the 2 positions that are actually approved through an application process, which are your statutory positions, are Dave Young, your CFO, and Deb Benino as your tax collector. If you turn to page 16, I just thought it was important to identify some of the factors that are driving insurance costs. We were sharing with Rich before that it looks like the increases this year, based on the budgets proposed by the Bergen, JIF, and the MEL, we go to all those meetings, are looking really good, a lot less than last year. But these bullet points that I put down, just little explanations of what drives the cost. The cost of insurance, even though we're a pool of public entities, we still go out and buy reinsurance. So we have to go to reinsurance markets. And if you know what's going on with your auto insurance, your homeowner's insurance, costs keep escalating because the cost to rebuild keeps going up. Floods, there's climate change, there's more litigation. They call that social inflation under liability. COVID hit us very hard with claims, with worker compensation. Basically, there were coverages that we never expected to provide insurance for, but in fact we had to for our employees. Public officials, cyber, we know what's going on with cyber. So all these factors, as identified in here, are driving the trends. So I thought it was important that the governing body understand what drives some of our insurance costs.
Could you just talk about it? It says that the claim severity is up 300% over 7 years. Bullet point 2.
I'm sorry, where do you see
It
that?
says
ma'am?
liability, page 16.
Oh, yeah, with
16.
social inflation, yes, and that's across the board. That's not the Borough of Oakland, by the way. I'm gonna show you that in a moment. But overall, throughout our doing insurance fund, the costs for claims that are being settled now, there's so much, under public officials and employment practices, there's fee shifting by law. So someone litigates against a borough or a municipality, and we lose that case, their attorney's fees now get shifted and we have to pay them. So that's under that coverage I talked about before. Now again, the Borough of Oakland has, in 2 years, no claims at all. An extremely, very profitable claims experience. But that overall it's one factor that's just driving the cost of liability. The courts are eroding, and Matt could speak to it probably better than I can. I'm not a lawyer, but the courts are being eroded now with some of the defenses. We have Title 59 protections for our municipalities, and they used to be very, very strong, but now judges are starting to award money where things just never happened before. We have a huge case that's being appealed by the MEL now down in South Jersey, where 4 houses were flooded out. Houses worth $200,000 each. The case should have settled for $800,000. But the immunity that we had, the weather immunities and the scarce resources immunities under Title 59, the judge said, no, this is a $20 million case, and through punitive damages, which are uninsurable. So those are the things that are driving these costs up. Fred Semro, who's the mill attorney, a good friend of ours, is fighting that case now. They're appealing it. But that's one example of things that are just being eroded. $800,000 a case should have settled for, and again, it's because they felt that the town didn't upgrade the pipes, the system. But we all know Hurricane Ida, Floyd, all these claims, these sudden inundation of waters, we have no control over these things. So those are the kinds of things that are driving that cost.
Thank you.
If you go to page 17, And this is where on the left side of the packet, I wanted to give you my first bullet point, a little claims experience summary. Basically, it's an order for worker comp and all other lines of insurance coverage except for public official liability. And it just shows 2023, 2022, and 2021. I won't go through the details. If anybody has any questions, feel free to call us. These are the kinds of things we review quarterly at our safety committee meetings that we hold here in your library. But you can see that 2023, 2022, and 2021, your claims experience is excellent. You have a low frequency and a low severity of claims. And that's a testament to the governing body and all your department heads for doing a great job. We represent many, many communities, and I can't say that that's the case for all of our communities that we insure as their risk managers. So again, that's something you can just take a look at. Also on the left side, we put in there, this is the learning management system, which Rich and Jason are very knowledgeable about. But the MSI, the Mel Safety Institute, has login where you can log in, and Rich works with your staff where they do videos online, and that's part of our safety incentive program. And the MSI Live, which is live webinars and some in-person classes that's where you get continuing education units. So if you need RMC or CPWM for your public works superintendent, you can get credits on your live classes. And that's that one flyer on the side there. And then the last item is something I share at the safety committee meeting as well, but I thought the governing body just could be aware of it. There's a 3-page document. It's very detailed that I wrote many years ago, and I update every year, recommended by the Otterstedt Agency. These are basically when you have outside vendors, and we work with Rich on that when you have bouncy houses and you have events, National Night Out, Family Fun Day, whatever. When those vendors come in, we want to make sure they have proper insurance, and we want to make sure indemnification is done to protect the borough of Oakland. So we work with Rich on that, and we've had no issues at all. So that's a detailed analysis of the things we look for. Okay? If you go back on the right side on page 17, actually we can skip page 17 because I mentioned that we did a physical inspection of all your property. That's my second to last bullet point. And my last page on page 18, just so the governing body knows, you get a credit for having your police department accredited. So this past year, you're getting a $6,581 credit for having your police department accredited. So that's a good thing because they consider that more professional for the police. For 2023, we had the safety breakfast in 2024. So they go back a year. Oakland got the highest award. You got the Platinum Award, and you received a check for $1,500. So again, congratulations to the governing body and your administrative team. And just a special note of thanks to Rich and Jason, Kathy. It's a pleasure working with them. Your borough is run very professionally, and we are honored to be representing you as your risk managers. Any questions?
Thank you. Very good, a lot of information, thank you.
Any questions from the council?
Okay.
Thank you so
Mayor.
much.
Thank you, members of the governing body. Any questions, you give us a call. Our cards are in there to reach out to us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right, this time we have open to public. Have a motion to open to public.
So moved.
Do you have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody wish to address the council?
Yes, my name's Nico Carlson. I live 6 Geronimo Way. I've been up here the 6th or 7th time. The conspiracy and racketeering with Doral transfers is still going on. I'm being tortured, basically. I'm not getting any response from the town court, from the prosecutor, so I don't know. I turned to the mayor and the town council. But apparently the mayor and the councilwoman, they haven't heard of me before this, so I was wondering whether the rest of you, whether you've heard of me before appearing here.
You have your own attorney, don't you?
I'm not able to get one.
Why?
Nobody will take my case.
Affordability?
Well, it wasn't affordability, but I've called, I've been in incidences with the police and psychiatry.
You really need an attorney. Really do.
Yeah, I try the public defender and they don't take cases against the police. I've tried a couple of other organizations, legal aid. They don't.
We can't do anything for you. You have to have an attorney.
So how as far as going through the town courts? The town court?
Thank you, Mr. Carlson.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else wishes to address the council?
Good evening. Joseph Fiorio, 24 Hiawatha Boulevard. I don't have much of an update tonight, really. Not much action between RML and any of the homeowner groups have been going on the past 2 weeks. The only update I do want to give is I've been in contact with the Audubon Society, which is a society for preservation of birds. Turns out that the president of the Bergen Audubon Society, his wife grew up on Mirror Lake, of all places. He said he was very familiar with it. He knows that there are blue herons and ospreys that are on Mirror Lake. I've never seen an osprey myself. The advice that I want everybody to know who wants to protect Mirror Lake and stop any potential development of townhouses, condos, and homes on Mirror Lake. There is a website run by the DEP. It's called New Jersey Wildlife Tracker. If you go to Google and Google NJ Wildlife Tracker, you'll find it. If anybody has photos of any species on or very near Mirror Lake, all you have to do is take those photos, put them onto the DEP website, the Wildlife Tracker, and when the case comes up from the developer to get a permit, I was told the first thing they do is check the Wildlife Tracker to make sure that there are no endangered species. I've contacted lots of people on Mirror Lake. I've gotten pictures of blue herons from other people. In fact, I have one of my neighbors. He actually says he knows that crayfish and has a video of crayfish inside the lake, which I've never seen a crayfish in the lake, but apparently he has a video of it. So, and there, I did find out there is at least one species of crayfish that are protected. I would have no idea if it is the same species or not. But that would be my advice to anybody listening to this meeting tonight at home. If you have photos, please post it to that website. And thank you very much for the time.
Thank you, Mr. Fury. Not seeing any more public. Do we have a motion to close?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we have approval of minutes, October 8th, 2024. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Gofredo?
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Abstain?
Councilman Slasinski?
Abstain?
Councilman Talamini?
Yes.
Passes, right?
Yeah, it does.
Two? Only two?
Doesn't matter. Extensions go with the...
Okay. Okay. Motion passed.
Okay. Special announcements and appointments. We've got the following appointments for the Arts Committee. We have, these are with mayor and council consent. Appointment for the Arts Committee, I have two, Marisol Kowalski and Teresa DeSimone. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. For appointment for Sustainable Green Team, this is a mayoral appointment. I have going to appoint Marisol Kowalski. Appointment to the Public Events Committee, Craig Popchak, and this is for mayor and council. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
For appointment to the Zoning Board of Adjustment, I have a Robert Chareau. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, moving on to resolutions. Do this as a consent agenda. We have 24-296 to 24-309. 24-296, renew membership Bergen Municipal Joint Insurance Fund. 24-297, Chapter 159 of the National Opioid Settlement. 24-298, Chapter 159 Bulletproof Vest Partnership. 24-299, authorized shared services agreement for TV inspections with Northwest Bergen. 24-300, authorized shared services agreement for sanitary sewer cleaning with Northwest Bergen Utilities Authority. 24-301, authorized water and sewer agreement, 37 Shadow Ridge Road. 24-302, resolution in support of S2103/A971 fair share affordable housing obligations. 24303, reappoint Register for Vital Statistics. 24304, resolution for temporary hire for clerk's office. 24305, appointment of substitute crossing guard, Mr. Koch. 24306, authorize recreation refunds. 24307, authorize recreation refunds. 24308, approve TWA for Lennar. And 24309, amend tax refund from resolution 24293. Does anybody wish to call it out?
Can, is it 308 the one that's, they're looking for the push and pull? Was that for the Lennar with the sewer?
Pump it down.
Pumping them.
Yeah.
Pump and haul.
Pump and haul, yeah.
Right.
Track that one then.
You want to
You
pull
wanna
that one?
out?
Yeah, please.
Okay. With the exception of 24-308, do I have a wish to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Second. Roll call.
Councilwoman Gofredo?
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Yes.
Councilman Slasinski?
Yes?
Councilman Talamini?
Yes.
Okay, we're back to 24-308. Councilman Talamini?
So I just have a question. So it's for temporary sewer disposal, right? This is what this is for?
It's, Lennar needs to file an application with NJDEP to have their pump and haul plan approved. This is just a municipal endorsement of the application.
And then, this is it's temporary, right? This-
Correct. The idea here is that the building may be occupied before all of the transmission infrastructure is in place, and also that when you have a pump station on site like they're going to, you need a certain amount of flow running through it for it to work properly. So until they reach that sort of critical mass where they can stand up the pump station, it would be this pump and haul setup.
And then is this like, would we want to limit this? I mean, is this something that they would want to get rid of quickly? I mean, like, is it
Oh, I imagine this is more expensive for them than
Yeah.
than utilizing a sewer system with a pump station.
okay, so it's not something that they would hang on to longer than
Necessary?
than necessary.
No, they indicated they expect by spring, summer of next year to be off of that regimen.
All right. Would we have to revisit it if they or are we just giving them a blanket okay?
Well,
That's-
we're not actually giving them any okay at all. We're just basically saying that we acknowledge that they're doing this, that we're more or less giving our consent to them filing the application. It's the NJDEP that's ultimately going to approve it and perhaps put some conditions on it.
Okay. It's fine.
Any further questions from the council? Not seeing any. Do I have a motion to approve 24-308, approve TWA for Lennar?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Gofredo?
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Yes.
Councilman Saliani? Slasinski, sorry.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini?
Yes.
All right, we're up to ordinances. We've got 3 on tonight's agenda. The first one is 24 Code 949, as you heard at the last meeting. This is the streetscape ordinance for the Borough of Oakland. We've worked for a better part of a year on this. You heard the testimony of last month. It was punted down to the planning board for their recommendations on this. There was one slight change that was made to that. And today it's open for final adoption at this point. I need a motion to open to public for comment.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Gofredo?
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Yes.
Councilman Slasinski?
Yes?
Councilman Talamini?
Yes.
Anybody from the public wish to talk about 24 Code 949 streetscape design standards? Not seeing any. Do I have a motion to close?
So moved.
Second. Do I have a second?
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I didn't hear you.
Okay. Roll call.
Councilwoman Gofredo?
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Yes.
Councilman Slasinski?
Yes?
Councilman
Talamini?
Yes.
Do I have a motion to adopt?
Mayor,
Yes.
before you do that, if council decides that they wish to accept the planning board's recommendation regarding the additional language regarding the installation of the brick paver ribbons, that will just require an amendment here on the floor to amend before you adopt. So you would just take a motion to amend. You can reference Joe Russo's letter that was in the packet regarding the section and the language, adopt that, and then adopt the ordinance as amended.
Okay, so what happened at the planning board meeting, I'm sure everybody read Joe Russo's document about this. I had brought it up at the planning board meeting because what we wanted to do was when we put the ribbon bricks in, if you look at some towns, you see how they start moving and they're no longer congruent with the rest of the property. And there was a way that Ed Clark came with the engineering of Bush Plaza, which actually sets them in cement so they'll never move. So what I wanted to do is I made the recommendation at the planning board meeting that we make that small amendment. So if everybody's good with that, do we have a motion to amend?
I make a motion that we use the language that was provided from a borough attorney, from the attorney of the planning board.
Do we have a second? Second. Roll call?
Councilwoman Gofredo?
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Yes.
Councilman Sosinski?
Yes.
Councilman Talamini?
Yes,
Okay, now do I have a motion to adopt 24 Code 949 Streetscape Designs?
so moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilwoman Gofredo?
Yes.
Actually, do we need, is there discussion on this?
If you want.
Anybody need to discuss it?
I'm-
Roll call?
Councilwoman Gofredo?
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Yes.
Councilman Sosinski?
Yes.
Councilman Talamini?
Yes,
Okay, we're up to final adoption of 24 Code 950 Stormwater Control Ordinance. Mr. Coons, you want to just give us a quick overview again for the public?
Sure. So again, in 2021, we substantially readopted our stormwater control code to conform with the DEP's model ordinance that was in effect at that time. It was a new model ordinance that they had put in place. In 2023, they came out with some additional amendments as a condition of the new statewide general permit for stormwater management. These additional amendments primarily address things like the methodology for stormwater calculations, taking into account the DEP's latest projections for stormwater frequency and storm intensity. It adds some definitions and revises certain website addresses.
Thank you, Mr. Coons. Do I have a motion to open to public?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilwoman Gofredo?
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Yes.
Councilman Sosinski?
Yes.
Councilman Talamini?
yes.
Anybody from the public wish to discuss 24 Code 950 Stormwater Control Ordinance? Not seeing any? Motion to close.
Motion to close?
Second?
Second,
Roll call?
Councilwoman Gofredo?
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Yes.
Councilman Sosinski?
Yes.
Councilman Talamini?
yes.
Do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilwoman Gofredo?
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Yes.
Councilman Sosinski?
Yes.
Councilman Talamini?
Yes,
Okay, we're up to 24 Code 951, amend code for fire prevention fees. This had, if you recall from last meeting, this had to do with the outdoor market that we have here, so that we can just have one permit pulled for the market. Correct, Mr. Coons?
For up to 10 consecutive weeks.
10 consecutive weeks. So it's really a way for us to bring more vendors in without putting a financial burden on them, so that we can keep this outdoor market
Yeah,
going.
read it. Okay.
Do we have a motion open to public?
So moved.
Second? Do I have a
second.
Roll call?
Councilwoman Gofredo?
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Yes.
Councilman Sosinski?
Yes.
Councilman Talamini?
Yes,
Anybody from the public wish to discuss 24 Code 951, amend code for fire prevention fees? Not seeing any?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
second,
Roll call?
Councilwoman Gofredo?
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Yes.
Councilman Sosinski?
Yes.
Councilman Talamini?
yes.
We have a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second,
Roll call?
Councilwoman Gofredo?
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Yes.
Councilman Sosinski?
Yes.
Councilman Talamini?
just on behalf of the Arts and Oakland Committee, I just want to say thank you to the mayor and council and Rich and your office for the quick work you did on this. It was very important to make the market just more efficient, and it allows more vendors to come. It just makes the job a lot easier for our committee. So thank you for that.
We certainly hope that it has the desired effect. Because I don't think the issue is really attracting stall vendors, not attracting food trucks, food concessions, things like that, right? And a thanks is in order to Denny Newell, our fire official. It was really a discussion with him that led to the solution that you see here based on the frequency that they need to inspect. So,
Well, but that's just for fire, not the frequency for health inspection.
this is concerning fire in
Just
particular. Correct.
Just fire.
This is just fire.
Yeah, because
Right.
they should be inspected by the Board of Health, the health inspector every time.
Health was taking the Board of Health was taking their own measure to address it in
Good.
much a similar way that we're doing with the fire end.
Oh, really? Okay.
So, yes.
All right, that concludes our 3 ordinances. Up to work session, Mr. Coons, best practices inventory.
Yes, the leaves are falling. It's getting colder. Not that you would know it today when it's 80 degrees, but that means it's time for the annual best practices inventory that gets promulgated by the state every year. As you probably remember, the state, through the Department of Community Affairs, puts out a survey every year that they classify into 3 different areas. One is an unscored survey. Sometimes they're just looking for information on various topics. Like this year, it was heavily with affordable housing information. And then they have categories for what they call core competencies and then best practices. And you have to reach a certain threshold. The core competency questions are worth a point each. Best practices are worth half a point each. And you have to reach a minimum threshold. I think this year the score had to be at least 35 in order to avoid a loss of state aid. So we went through ours. It was included in your packet so that you have that. And we scored 45 out of 46.5.
Great. Congratulations.
So,
Very admirable of the staff, you and the staff.
I won't get into whether or not we agree with everything that the state says is the best practice.
No,
But
I know.
still, yes, I'm happy with our score this year.
You did a good job. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Coons. It's certainly important for us receiving grants. All right, moving on to new business. Anybody in the council have any new business?
I do. I just want to point out that Halloween is, coming up, and I know, trick-or-treating in the college section, I just hope that, any candidates for office keep in mind, like, this is time for the kids and not time for being political. And eliminate any hot dogs given out by political candidates. Just, that's my
For
new
the kids.
business.
Yeah, for the kids.
That's it. My
Thank
new
you.
business.
Any
I don't know
further
if
new
that was
business?
appropriate.
Not seeing. Do we have anybody have any old business? Not seeing any. Council reports. We'll start with Councilmember Fredo.
I gave my reports earlier in the month, and you covered the trunk or treat, so I don't have anything else.
Councilor Sislinski.
Thank you, Mayor. From Public Safety, in the month of September, officers conducted 232 motor vehicle stops and issued 247 motor vehicle summonses. Officers also made 3 arrests for driving while intoxicated and 1 arrest for possession of narcotics. Let's see, from the library, on this Friday at 11 a.m., the OPL will have their toddler dance party. Registration is required. And on Saturday from 11 to 12:15, they will have Art with Mandy and Friends. This is for older children interested in learning some art basics in a fun environment. This is a volunteer-driven program utilizing talented volunteers from Indian Hills High School and will meet once a month. Check the calendar for details. Registration is also required. On Sunday, the 27th at 2 p.m., they will have the talented concert violinist Dr. Pottles on the library stage for his fantastic Sounds of Spain, Fandango to Flamenco concert. Registration is also required. On Monday, the 28th at 6:30 p.m., they will have a family program on the stage, the Sleepy Hollow Halloween Show. This is a fun, interactive program for families with young children. Registration is also required. Speaking of families, everyone should clear their calendar for Saturday, November 2nd at 12 p.m. as Truck Day returns to the OPL parking lot. featuring some of the trucks and outstanding employees who run them from our very own police, fire, ambulance, and DPW. This is one of the best events of the year, and kids of all ages will have a blast. No need to register for this one. On Thursday, November 7th at 6 p.m., they will have an information session for adults on how to use a Roth IRA to create wealth. Registration is required. And on Saturday, November 9th, from 1 to 5 p.m., they'll be hosting a Christmas tree ornament decorating event to cover Oakland's submission to Van Saun Park Christmas trees with custom-made ornaments. They encourage residents to register in advance for this program, but it's a drop-in, so they can come in at any time during their window to decorate the ornament. Also, they'd just like to remind everyone that they can check out the calendar on other events that I haven't listed, or you could also call the library at 201-337-3742. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman. I just want to make a quick comment. Just want to make a quick comment. I did attend a seminar at the library last week. I believe it was Thursday. They had a guest speaker down there talking about ChatGPT and AI, and I got to tell you, some of the speakers that the library is able to find is truly extraordinary. I mean, it was really a well-attended event by members of our community. So certainly keep an eye on the library calendar, and like you said, the violinists are coming. So there's some really high-quality programming here in Oakland, and the library's doing a great job. So thank you, Mrs. Stinson. Councilman Picatelli.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I have to apologize to Ariel and the senior citizens. Somehow, their report got erased. I don't know what happened. It's not on my phone anymore. But there are a couple of programs sponsored by the senior citizens. Please contact Ariel at the building. Most of them need pre-registration. From the American Legion, they asked me to make this announcement. The Oakland American Legion's annual Veterans Day ceremony will be Monday, November 11th at 10:45 a.m. in Veterans Park on Ramapo Valley Road. A local member of the clergy will present the invocation and benediction. Indian Hills High School soprano Riley Rochelle will sing the national anthem and 2 verses of My Country 'Tis of Thee. Local churches will ring their bells at 11 a.m. And that's it, because Ariel's message got erased. So I'm sorry. I apologize. And I'd also like to apologize to everyone. Unfortunately, I had some medical issues, which I haven't had corrected yet. I had to miss 2 meetings. I apologize for doing that. Tonight is my trial run. So far, so good. But thank you to Councilman Talamini for picking me up, because I'm not allowed or can't drive yet. So my apologies to the council and to the people of Oakland. Thank you.
Feel better, Councilman.
Thank you.
Councilman Talamini.
Yeah, well, just let me say welcome back, Councilman Picatelli. We missed you. So let's do recreation. For recreation, the next meeting of rec meets Monday night at 8 p.m. At the Danny D building. The agenda will be posted on the Borough website a few days prior. Roller hockey signups are now available on www.oaklandrec.org. And then the arts in Oakland, we have the outdoor market that's going strong. It's a great place to go see some crafts from people that make on their own, and there's some food there. There's just some really cool stuff there. It's really nice. It's going to be there at the same time as the Halloween parade. It's just going to be pushed back into the school parking lot a little further. So the Halloween parade will be where it always is with the trick or trunk. Nothing is really changing with that. But while you're there, you could check out the market. That's just an extra bonus this year to the parade, and the Halloween parade has got to be hands down my favorite event of the public events, and just seeing the kids' faces when they get the pumpkins and the candy and running through the maze, and it's just a lot of fun. It's a fun day. There'll be some music there. It's a great event. Also, there's an art exhibit going on at the library right now until November 6th. November 16th. You can go there. It's open as long as the library is open. You could visit the art exhibit. It's some local artists and some artists from around town. There's some photography, some paintings, some drawings. Very, very nice stuff. And I think that is it.
Thank you, Councilman.
Oh, hold on, before I forget. I attended a Boy Scout, Cub Scout meeting along with the mayor. It was a lot of fun. I was happy to be there. It was nice to see the Cub Scouts in all their glory, and we had a nice little presentation. And I don't know if you want to announce what the candy selection.
Well, to put some context around it, we had the Cub Scouts act as a governing body, and the question, they had to vote on whether M&Ms or Skittles was going to be the official candy of Oakland. And then we had a little bit of debate, and then the council voted on it, and the official candy is Skittles.
Skittles. So Skittles won. There was a little bit of controversy, but Skittles won. So and that was a great event. It was I was a Cub Scout when I was a younger kid, and it was nice seeing all the kids. It's a great organization.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you.
All right, we're up to bills to be paid. Councilwoman.
Total bills to be paid, $1,480,844.82. So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Gofredo?
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Here, yes.
Councilman Solzinski?
Yes.
Councilman Talamini?
Yes.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That concludes today's meeting. Our next council meeting will be Tuesday, November 12th, 2024, here at the council chambers. Have a good night, everybody.
Okay.
I cannot believe I dropped the phone on the desk and
Oh,
it
I could have
canceled.
tried to find it for you.
I did. I tried.